If you've been looking at living in Southwest Florida over the last few years, then you already know. Insurance has been one of the biggest pain points for homeowners. Policies getting dropped, rates doubling, and buyers getting sticker shock before they can even make an offer. But here's the big question everyone's been asking in 2026. Is insurance finally getting better, or is this just another temporary break? And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a little bit of both. But before we get into it, if we haven't met yet, I am Jessica Gatewood, a locally born and raised real estate expert here in Southwest Florida. I make these videos so you can stay informed on what's really going on in our market and make smarter decisions, whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or just keeping an eye on things. All right, as always, I am going to start with the good news, and I'm elated that there actually is some regarding insurance. For the first time in years, we are seeing insurance rates stabilize. In some cases, they're even going down, which is crazy. The state-backed program, Citizens Insurance, is lowering rates in some cases by 8 to 9%. And some private companies like State Farm are filing for reductions of 10% or more. This is a huge deal because Florida hasn't seen rate decreases like that since 2015. So what is driving that? There are a few things. There's the legal reform that reduced the insurance lawsuits. There's more insurance companies entering the Florida market, which is kind of a farce. It's insurance. They claim bankruptcy, leave the market, and they come back named as something else. I don't really understand that. And then obviously making it a year without another catastrophic hurricane named storm coming our way was huge. But don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that insurance is cheap by any means. I just looked into a home yesterday in North Fort Myers, and the homeowner is paying $8,000 a year for homeowners insurance. Wild. So Florida is still the most expensive state in the country for homeowners insurance. I don't know if that's a real big secret, but the average premiums are sitting between $3,500 to the $8,000 plus that I just mentioned. So yes, the rates are coming down, but they're coming down from record highs, so it doesn't really feel like that big of a win. So here's the part that most people don't realize, that even though the rates are going down statewide, it does not necessarily mean that your specific property rates are going to go down. Now, if you've listened to me talk at all, or if we've had the pleasure of speaking, you have definitely heard me say that insurance rates are volatile and you've got to pay attention. Since they're going down now, that's, an anomaly in my opinion. I always tell my clients to plan for your insurance to go up every year so you can wholeheartedly know that the home you're buying is going to suit you well for the next 5 years. Even if it's not a 5-year plan, we have to go in eyes wide open. Insurance is very property specific. It depends on things like the age of your roof, if you have a wind mitigation, which is a inspection report detailing how much hurricane protection the home has. And if it's highly rated, then you get a discount on your insurance. Obviously your flood zone matters. And then a lot of people don't realize this, that insurance claims not only stay with the people that make the claims, kind of like your car insurance, but they stay with the house. So if you've made a claim, the next person coming on to get a quote gets the ramifications of that. So it's just really important to note that me and my house today can have one rate, and my neighbor in a completely different house is going to have a completely different rate. Even though we're in the same velocity zone, same flood zone, it's very important to recognize that. So another big shift happening behind the scenes is that Citizens, which is the state-run insurance operation, is drastically reducing their policies. So they're dropping hundreds of policies, and more homeowners are being pushed back into private insurance. And honestly, when I bought my current home, Citizens was the only option in the state. But about 6 months later, I got a letter in the mail stating that there was another option available to me, and it was the same price, a couple dollars. It was probably like $25 more than Citizens. So they were forcing me to take that other policy. Which leads me to my next point. If you get a private insurance quote that's within 20%, about 20% of Citizens' rate, you may likely be required to switch to that private insurer. The great Hurricane Ian, Citizens was just the fallback insurance. Like if the private insurance companies wouldn't insure a home because let's say the roof only has to have at least 5 years of life left. Prior to that, we could get away with 2 to 3 years of life left. But let's say you had a home like that had a roof with 2 to 3 years of life left. The private insurance companies may deny that, but you always had Citizens to fall back on. Now, they're not so much that option right now. They're trying to pull back their number of policies in the state. It's my opinion that they're trying to get back to that, where they are the fallback option, not the only option. So let me talk about what insurance means for Southwest Florida real estate specifically. For buyers, insurance is and should be one of the top 3 factors of the affordability of a home for you. When I'm searching for buyers specifically, and this is how I've always run my business, but now in the economy we're in, and it's more important than ever to be more mindful, but obviously it goes by purchase price. And then my second check is how much the taxes are currently and a guesstimate of what they will be for my buyer in the next year. And then also a guesstimate of what the insurance is going to be based on what I know about the home, age of the roof, age of the AC, plumbing, electrical, that kind of stuff. Honestly, I'm trying not to ramble on this, but you could have a $400,000 1989 home that you qualify for. The taxes are low, but the insurance is going to be higher. But you could also have a $435,000 brand new home. So the taxes are going to be lower and the insurance is going to be lower. So you may qualify for more than you are looking at if you're paying more attention to those escrow items. Insurance costs have jumped nearly 70% since 2019, which is wild. And it's really just an important factor to note when we're talking about the affordability of real estate. It's so much more than just the price of the home. For sellers, what this insurance crisis means is that older roofs, outdated systems like plumbing, electrical, AC, or homes without storm protection are getting scrutinized way more than they used to. Briefly mentioned before, you really can only get away with one of those items being outdated currently. And then even in that instance, your buyer is probably going to have to sign a paper saying that they will get them updated within 30 to 60 days of closing. So it's important to note that these things will be things that come up in inspection periods, and you will likely have to negotiate if you don't go ahead and get them updated prior to listing your home for sale. All right, so what should you do with all of this information? Here's some practical takeaways. Number 1, shop your insurance every year. Even I get lackadaisical on this because it's something that's just paid by your mortgage company and you kind of set it and forget it. But it's so important to do it. You could, $100, $200 can go a long way. Number 2 is to get a wind mitigation inspection. Again, that's a home inspection that checks out the hurricane rated components of your home. So this is how many nails are in your roof, the certain type of fasteners they're using, if you have impact windows and doors, if you have storm shutters, if you have an impact rated garage door. All of these things come together, and the more of that you have, you can get a deduction on your insurance premium. Sometimes it's between 10 to 40% depending on the house. And number 3, pay attention to the house itself, not just the price. Because in today's market, the wrong house can cost you thousands more per year in insurance. This seems like a great time for me to let you know that if you have any homes that have been on your radar that you loved on Zillow, that have caught your eye, shoot them my way and I can give you my little breakdown on the actual affordability of it for you. I have no problem doing that. It's a quick and simple conversation. So what's really going on? The insurance market is not fixed by any means, but it seems to be stabilizing at the best. Finally seeing some relief, some more options, and a little bit of breathing room. But we're also in a new normal, unfortunately, and I feel like this is in a lot of aspects of life currently, that where we're used to paying more for the insurance. But at this point, it just needs to play a much bigger role in every real estate transaction moving forward. If you want more updates just like this, what's happening in the market, what it means for you, local happenings and events here in Southwest Florida, sign up for my weekly Front Porch newsletter. That's an email newsletter that I send out every week. The link to subscribe to that is in the description below. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or even just trying to make sense of your current policy, feel free to reach out to me. I will help you any way that I can. I'm helping people navigate this here in Southwest Florida every single day, and I would love to be a service to you. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.